in Los Angeles, California, that there was a high-speed chase, and this happens almost every day, so there's nothing new. But what was different about this story was that the robbers were throwing money out of the car. Now, let's take a look at the video, and then we'll talk about why we think the robbers were doing that.
If I can, just play the video of them throwing some of the cash out the windows, and they have thrown this out by our count at least 5 or 6 different times. Cash being thrown out, and you can see the kids are all running after it, right? They've done this a bunch of times, Megan, and you can see that these kids are running after the car now. They know where it is. It's on every television station in Los Angeles, and now you get kids running out of their house in downtown looking for a little cash. The police tell us, Megan, that every time they throw cash out, they actually have GPS indicators inside the police car, and they push a button. Every time they push money out, they push a button, and that is location of another crime scene. So every place they put money out, they go back and try to get the cash. Good luck trying to gather up all that cash, because a lot of it's down. You see them throwing something else out back there? We know there's 2 people in the car, Megan. It looks to me like there could be 3. I mean, we know 3 people have gotten out, but you can see
There's some more.
and
Look
they're
at the
jumping in
people
front of
running.
the cops, right? And they're getting in the way. They're trying to jump in front of the cops like, hey, give us the money, give us the money. I mean, this is downtown Los Angeles, a very impoverished area. And when you got people throwing money out, you've got some people that badly want that money.
Oh, really?
Impoverished area.
Look, I give Fox credit for getting that coverage right away before anybody else did. We saw it in the morning, right? Now, on the other hand, their description is like, these kids are running it. First of all, a lot of those look like grown-ass men. Okay, let's keep it real on that front. Second of all, they're like, it's an impoverished area, so they would be interested in $100 bills thrown around. Yeah! We would all be interested in that.
I know.
We don't have to be impoverished. Are you kidding me? If somebody's throwing, I think they're $100 bills. I don't know, but it was a bank robbery, right? So whatever bills they're throwing out there, you think we're not going to grab? I'd grab it.
So they robbed a bank in Santa Clarita, and they drove this Volvo all the way over to South LA. That's a very long distance. The person who had his car stolen said that the car had a full tank of gas, and that makes a lot of sense considering how far they went. Now, it's interesting because members of the community that went over there and they picked up the cash were, of course, supporting the robbers because they thought the robbers were part of like a Robin Hood story.
Oh, sure.
Right? So one resident of South Los Angeles said, "I'm just so glad this person came to throw this money in the hood, basically. You usually see robbers and they take their stuff and they leave, but this guy came over and tried to help us out, so it's more like all of us are supporting the robbers and the cops."
That's hilarious, man. If these robbers were Republicans, they'd drive by another bank and throw it at them.
That's actually true, yes. And by the way, the cops are saying, of course the cops are going to say this, and I think this is more plausible, but that they were throwing the money out because they wanted those human obstacles, so the cops would have a tougher time getting to them.
I think it's a combination of things. That's the first thing I thought of. Well, then I thought about it and I thought, look, first of all, they're not going to get to keep the money. They know they're stone cold busted. They've been chased for a long time now. The helicopters are in the air. They're done for, right? Although one of them did kind of get away.
One of them did get away. Actually, during this high-speed pursuit, they did make one very quick stop, so a few of the people in the vehicle got out. One of them got caught. The other one was dropped off in Silmar, California, and he's still on the loose.
I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of people in LA saying, go, you go, man, keep running, and rooting for him. So now the second thing is I think it's possible that they wanted to create obstacles for cops to get around, right? The third thing is if you're not going to be able to keep the money anyway, screw it, you might as well give it to people. And if they're really clever, the additional advantage they would have is this one, where people would all of a sudden turn around and go, they're not so bad. And imagine that they get somebody from that community or any community they threw money in on their jury, a little bit more likely to get off. You know what? And they turn around and say, we were just trying to be good guys, man. It's actually one of the most clever things that I've seen robbers do because those high-speed chases are useless. All you're doing is getting yourself in more trouble, endangering people. You're never going to get away. But these guys, one of them got away, and they made a lot of allies on the way.
They did make a lot of allies. I don't know whether or not those allies are actually going to help them in the long run. But look, at the end of the day, I hate these high-speed pursuits. I hate the number of people that get hurt. I mean, in this case, thankfully, not a lot of people get hurt. I know, I'm being the downer here. But honestly, it's so stupid. The police enforcement they're not going to run out of helicopters. They're going to catch your ass. Like stop putting other people's lives at risk by doing what you're doing. It's so stupid.
All right, can we all agree that Anna's being a downer on this? Yeah?
All right.
And you know what? Everybody agrees. Jesus, in fact, this morning came in and said, why didn't you guys text me, man? I was on my way in. I could have just gotten on my bike and followed them. Picked up a couple of things on the way.
By the way, really bad idea.
Of course! And I don't think Jesus would have necessarily actually taken his bike over there.
No, I know. But the people who were doing that, I mean, they could have gotten... and by the way, when it finally came to an end and they had the car boxed in or trapped, there were a bunch of people at the scene, and the cops were about to get into a shootout. I mean, this is a nightmare.
The guy in the big silver truck is the hero, Megan. The cops didn't even have to put a spike strip down or bump him. The guy in the silver truck blocked him off. There was another car over there. That was the end of this hour-plus car chase, and the suspects are now, all of them, by the way, in custody, even the ones who jumped out earlier.
That's how it always ends. And yet, and when they got out, all the folks were clapping their hands, and we weren't sure whether they were clapping because the police were apprehending the bad guys or because the bad guys had been giving money to so many of the folks in downtown LA. Now the police will begin their task of trying to review the TV footage to find out exactly who took it. Look at the size of the crowd that has come out to see this arrest take place. There was not a lot of resisting going on once they actually got the car. Of course, the entire police chase is considered resisting arrest, but once they actually got to the car, the men seem to have been apprehended with very little trouble by the police.
All right, Jesus during the entire footage is saying they're heroes, man. They're heroes. They won him over too. Look at all those folks. Now, if there's a shootout, disastrous. Okay, thank God there wasn't. That one woman, I don't know if she was picking up money or what she was doing, but towards the end, she's picking something up from the ground. I'm like, the cops got guns. Get out of there. Get out of there, man. What are you, crazy? And the guy in the silver crazy limo car. What are you doing?
I know. There's no way in hell I would have the balls to do something like that. Because they're armed. They have a gun.
Yeah, what if they shoot you?
Oh, my God. There's no way.
So I don't need to protect that bank's money that much, man. And let alone if they crash into your car. I know. Look, he's not doing it for the bank necessarily, but it's to end the situation so that the guy doesn't run into anybody, et cetera, et cetera. And he's a good guy, and bless his heart, but I'm amazed by that. And then the question that Fox was asking, are they applauding because the cops got him? Or are they applauding the guys for throwing out the money? Oh, trust me, they're applauding the guys for throwing out the money. Okay, they're like, oh, nicely done, chaps. Way to detain that gentleman who was throwing around all those bills in our neighborhood.